Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sessions with Kat. We're back with another deck walkthrough and chit chat. Before I get into that, some updates and a disclaimer. Let's get through the updates first. Update number one, I do not have a point of sale system. And if you know what the abbreviation for point of sale is, it's POS, which is also a piece of shit. That bitch broke on me. I'm upset because I guess I saw emails that I had clients who booked with me, and in order to book, you have to pay in advance. All that's gone, right? So there's the three clients who tell me that they booked with me, and I'm like, you clearly didn't, because my system's a piece of shit, and it doesn't show. It doesn't even show on my services anymore. Like it's fucked up. And I guess, thank God, I got their money refunded to them. And I told them to hold off because I use that system to track just about everything, and that means all my like receipts and sales reports, all of it is gone, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do come tax time. So I gotta figure that shit out, right? But that being said, there is a sale going on. I will repost it on Instagram because you guys shouldn't have to suffer because my point of sale system decided to like fall and break and not be able to put back together again like Humpty Dumpty. Like it's just, yeah, I'm not happy about it. But that's that. Second update, January 1st, I'm bringing back the Soul Aura paintings. And I had them there. They've always been listed as a product or service that I offer. I just never really promoted it, but I've had a lot of people who've gotten Soul Aura paintings from me, and I was like, I should bring those back. So I'm bringing those back because I miss painting. I miss doing the things like, getting my hands dirty and showing people what I see when I look at them. So when, if you don't know who I am, I'm able to see the color of the soul. I can see your chakra colors. I can see your aura field, your auric field. I can see all of that too. But the first thing that shows up when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, or even when I encounter any person, I see your soul color, okay? And usually I can tell if something's wrong. So I'll ask the right questions just to make sure that I'm not losing my fucking mind, right? But I can see that. So half my sight I can see, and this is only when I look at people, okay? Including children. Half my sight I can see half of what you look like. I can see half of your face, okay? And in that half I can see your health lines and your ancestral lines, your past life lines. I can see that. But the past life lines show up more so in that soul color. So I can see the lines more on that. The other side of my vision is your soul aura, okay? So when I look at you, I look at the color first, because if I don't like that color that's coming at me, I'm gonna walk away, right? Because 9 times out of 10, it's only really one color that I would walk away from. 9 times out of 10, that's not a person I should be interacting with, right? Unless they're purely there to get my help to help shift that color, right? But I can see the soul color. So I get a lot of people ask me, oh, what color do you see when you look at me? And I'm like, it's just better if I paint it, because, just like your auric field, the colors shift, they move. It's constantly moving because you're constantly experiencing emotions and whatnot. Well, your soul color, even though it stays the same color, it still moves. It's kind of like a lava lamp, right? Still moves, right? A lava lamp when it's on, not when it's off. It's like a lava lamp. It still moves, right? So I have to get a snapshot of that color and then paint it. And I love doing that because it kind of helps that person see with, how I see them. The colors of the soul, each person I encounter, there are no two people with the same color, you know what I mean? It's beautiful, especially kids. Kids are more like rainbows. But like adults have like one color, but then it becomes like pearlescent sometimes. It's great, like it's wonderful. And so I'm bringing back those just so you guys know. So those are the two updates. Now, disclaimer, we're gonna walk through this deck, and it's called the Naked Truth Oracle, okay? And every being on these cards is naked. And if you have a problem with naked people on cards, kindly like this video and exit politely. And the reason I say that is not everybody wants to see, naked people on cards. There's nothing vulgar about this deck. I just want you guys to know. As much as I like, strong decks, there's nothing vulgar about this deck. And I think that's what I like about it, because it's so easy to kind of like explore the shadows of yourself with this deck. So, and I'll give you guys like a little sneak peek so you guys know, in case you don't want to continue watching, right? They're all naked, right? So you'll want to be mindful of that if you're not into naked people. I don't mind it, okay? I love it, so it is what it is. But if you have a problem with that, go ahead and just, shut this video off, or, minimize it if you're on your phone and just listen to the chat versus looking at the pictures, okay? I just wanted to put that out there. Now, let's get into this whole thing and what we're going to chat about. And today we're chatting about owning your journey and speaking your testimony, right? This is your testament, right? And I'll get into that. And like, I hope I don't come off like too religious with this though, because it's not really, it's not like a Christian thing, but like I got to relate it to that just so you guys understand it. Okay? But if you want to screenshot or whatever these two cards, because that's basically what we're about to talk about in a nutshell. So let's get into it. So owning your journey, and it's really about the testimony of it all, right? How can I say this? It's you really standing firm in how you got to where you are now, okay? And that's your testimony, right? And as a side note, this lovely little chunker deck is 2 decks in one, okay? So it's sold like the original pack and then an expansion pack. I don't think she's put a bundle up on her Etsy shop yet. So you'll have to buy them separately if you do want them. But I have them all together, just so you guys know. So, in the Bible, and please don't leave, because y'all probably like, bitch, that's not what we came here for. No, I'm like giving an example, I promise. In the Bible, there's an Old Testament and there's a New Testament, okay? The Old Testament is where you were. Okay, don't take the Bible part, like, unless you religious, like, you got to think about it. The Old Testament is where you were. It's where you were. And I want you to understand that your Old Testament is where you were. That's usually that victim mentality. That's usually that, oh, I'm still suffering mentality. And please don't think I'm trying to like shame anybody or like put down anybody. No, I'm here to help. I promise. I'm not here to shame anybody. But your Old Testament is where you were. Okay? Your New Testament is where you are now. Okay? So in that Old Testament, that's where you endured all of that pain, all of that bullshit, all of that just crazy mayhem, okay? The sabotage, the self-sabotage, that's where all of that took place, okay? That's your Old Testament, okay? But you can't discount that part based on where you are now, okay? Because that's how the fuck you got to where you are now. And this is part of owning your goddamn journey, okay? It pisses me off when people say, oh, I was there and I'm right here right now. Yeah, but where you were is how you got fucking here, right? Own that part, because that's how you help people grow. All y'all that want to know what to do with your old journey, that's how you help people grow. When somebody say, how'd you make it through? Look back. That's what that fucking history is for. It's not meant to make you cry. It's not meant to make you hate a person all over again. It's meant for you to look back and go, hey, this little bit of information can help this person in front of me. Think that way, okay? It's not meant to make you relive what you went through. No, just like how the Bible was fucking, you got an Old Testament, write your old fucking testament. That's your life. That's your story, right? This is why I always emphasize journaling, okay? I emphasize keeping some sort of like junk journal, art journal, book of shadows, book of light, whatever you call it. I always emphasize that because you get to tell your whole story. You get to look back and go, man, that's where I was. And this where I'm at now. You get to reflect. And when someone comes to you and they know roughly what you've been through, and they ask you a question, you can go back. Because you got a whole fucking story to tell. That's part of your goddamn journey. And I wish people would stop not owning that part. Like, that's how I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go through half the shit that I went through. Okay? Did I like the shit I went through? No, I don't think anybody does. Okay? But how can I help those who come to me if I don't embrace that part of my journey and own it and go, hey, so I went through similar situation like this, and this is how I moved through it. And let's see if we can find a way for you to move through it using the information that I have, right? Own that part, right? Because your New Testament wouldn't be here if you didn't have the old one. I said what I said, and don't judge me, judge your mama, okay? You just whole ass fucking deal with that. You're closing the door on the pain, not the lessons. Okay, that's what the whole journey is about. You're digging into the shadows, pulling out those lessons, right? You're pulling out all the lessons, right? And you're getting rid of the pain. That's the whole point. You don't want the pain. When you're working on shadow work, it's not about, oh, I gotta, learn forgiveness. No, you gotta learn forgiveness of self. That's the main thing, right? Forgiveness of self, not forgiveness of others. It's forgiveness of self, because we are so quick to forgive people, but we don't do shit for us. We don't forgive us. And that's part of your journey too. You gotta own that part too. Self-commitment, self-exploration, self-discovery involves owning that old part of yourself and taking those lessons, leaving the pain, right? The pain can stay wherever the fuck it is, right? Just as long as it's not in your body, right? Leaving the pain, taking the lessons, and forming that New Testament so that when you walk with your head held high, you know why you can, right? When you set a boundary, you know why you did, right? You remember what you went through and how you no longer wish to feel, so you can set that better boundary. That's part of owning your journey. And I'm having this conversation with y'all, one, because Spirit told me to, and two, these are the type of clients I've been getting lately. So I'm mad. I'm just saying like that. I'm mad because I want y'all to own every part of you. Y-O-U, capital Y-O-U, okay? You, that part of you that you like compressed and put in a box, and now you get to be free because your New Testament says now you free, but your Old Testament over here like, I'm stuck. No, you're no longer stuck, but you know what it feels like to be stuck, and you know what you don't want somebody else to go through, right? That's part of owning your journey, especially those of you who are trying to figure out what you want to do in life and how you wish to help people. Look at your journey. Look at your journey, okay? I used to tell people, I'm like, I really want to help people, you know, particularly women with PTSD as a result of sexual trauma. That was my main thing, is to assist women with PTSD as a result of sexual trauma. And then I broadened that. I said, women, young girls, little girl, like children, and older, like not just women my age, but all ages. I wanted to help who has PTSD as a result of sexual trauma. That has always been my goal, okay? Most of my clients meet that, okay? And it's beautiful working with them because it gives me a chance to go, whoo, I wasn't alone, right? But also, whoo, I can help. I can help somehow, right? If that's just helping you rework your ancestral lines and your trauma lines and moving shit out so we could put the right shit in, hey, I'm helping. But also remember what it took for me to get from where I was to where I am, and owning that part that says, hey, these are things I implemented for myself, and now I can use that to help others, but I'm not going to disregard what I've been through. I'm not going to just leave that back there. Most people think that they have to shut the door to their past, right? It's all interconnected. So we're going to hit on a few different things. Let me say that. It's all interconnected. When you move from your Old Testament to your New Testament, that is a form of grief. Okay? It is a form of grief. And you go through those motions, right? All of those emotions, the acceptance, denial, anger, all of that. You go through all of that, okay? So why wouldn't you own it if you went through it? You ain't got to own the pain. I just want you to own the lesson. And I think that's what, people who say, I'm just going to close the door to my past. You can't. You can close it to the pain. You can't close it to the lesson, because that's the part that you actually need to help your New Testament actually make sense. And I want everybody to understand that. Like, you deserve to have a full story, not a chopped up one. You deserve to have your story in full, not in pieces. So when you say you're closing the door to something, you really need to be mindful of what you're actually closing the door to. No, you don't want the pain, but you want all the other little bits and pieces, because that's how your new life, this new journey makes sense for you. Right? This is why I explore past lives, right? This is why I explore your ancestral lines, is because all of that information has to make sense of, okay, how did you get to where you are now, right? Like, what took place, right? Everything, let me say it this way. In our healing journey, we do not want history to repeat itself, right? In order for history to not repeat itself, we must know said history and what occurred, right? In order to prevent it from happening again. So we install boundaries, and we cut off people, or we, transform and transmute our whole entire life or whatever. We need to know that background. So it's important for you to own the Old and the New Testament, right? And like, for those of you who are religious, okay, and you might agree with me, you might not, I don't care, okay? When I was doing all my studies to become a reverend, and we looked at the Old Testament, which I picked apart. Okay. I mean, I was picking that whole fucking thing apart. Then we got to the New Testament, and I realized that the underlying message was, you don't have to forget the Old Testament, right? Just understand that there are new laws and regulations now. We don't need those old ones because those old ones worked for that time, right? We now need the new ones. We now need a new way of being, a new way of moving forward and interacting with people and so on and so forth. That's what it's all about, right? That's what I came to know. Did my superiors like that? No. Do I care? No. Like, own your whole story. That's your testimony. That's your testament. So I'm going to give you guys like, and this is a project I'm working on for myself because I realize I need to build this. And I've also been challenged with something, and I'll tell you what I've been challenged with here in a little bit. But I am working to create an Old Testament. And what I'm using is a scrapbook, right? And I'm going to redecorate that bitch to fit me, right? It's going to fit that time period before my major shift, okay? Before I really started fully walking authentically, okay? That Old Testament's going to reflect that part, okay? And that amount of years. Do I need pictures of what occurred? Nope. It can be, I don't need exact pictures. Let me say that. You can piece together whatever you need to. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my tarot decks that I know I'm never going to use again, but I also don't feel that they need to be rehomed. I'm going to use some of those to kind of like use the cards to help put together a pictograph of what my Old Testament was, okay? And I'm going to build the hell out of that bitch, okay? And I'm literally going to use, because most scrapbooks come with like 10, 12 pages already in them. I'm going to build it, and it's going to be as thick as I need it to be, okay? What that does, right, is going to, and this is the perfect card for this, is going to help me unlock some things that I might have missed, right? I'm not looking to like relive emotions or relive the pain. No, I just want my story. I want my full story. I don't want to leave out anything, especially if I know that it can, what I've been through could essentially help one of my clients, right? That's my ultimate goal. That is my ultimate goal. So I'm going to not rebuild. I'm going to build my Old Testament, okay? And on the front, it's literally going to say Catrice's Old Testament. There's literally what the fuck is, unless I come up with some like really fancy name, because I know me. I'm extra. So like, whatever floats your boat. If you're going to do this with me, let me know. Let me know. Because if you're going to do it with me, then I'll make a fucking video on it and show you guys my book, right? So let me know. I'm curious who's going to join me on this journey. But I'm going to make my Old Testament. I am. And I'm hoping, because I've been challenged with something. So here's the challenge that I've before I finish that statement. Here's my challenge. A very significant person in my life challenged me to create one painting, okay? And I love watercolor. I love watercolor. And I haven't actually done a true watercolor painting since high school. And I remember I had like this really small kind of like art show in art class, and you're supposed to show your parents, okay? I remember showing my dad, and he was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, my dad was like, yeah, whatever, like, that's cool, right? And I remember showing my mom, and she was like, yeah, you can't make no 9 to 5 out of that. And I remember I just shut everything down, okay? I shut everything down. I stopped painting. I stopped caring fully about art as far as doing it. I love seeing it. That's why I love indie decks or artists who create their own deck. Like that's why I love it, because it's like, whoo, you took that skill and you put it somewhere, right? And as of late, I found myself like craving, right? And I was just like, okay. And so I was challenged to create one major piece by March 2023. And in order for me to do that, I have to find where I put all of that art energy. And in order to do that, I have to create that Old Testament, because I know it's sitting in there. I know it's sitting in there, and I need to touch it. I need to feel it. I need to embrace it. I need to bring it back. It's kind of like a soul retrieval, okay? Just not as intense as a soul retrieval that I would do, if that makes sense. It's like it's one of those pieces of your soul that you can go find yourself. There are other pieces where you need help and you need to send like a shaman or a healer or somebody to go get it for you, okay? Because you don't want to be stuck there. All I know is I hid that energy in some box and I need to unlock it. And in order to do that, for me, I know that I can do it if I create this Old Testament. Okay, so that's my challenge, right? So if any of you have been feeling like you suppress something, right, and you've been suppressing it for years or whatnot, this might work for you if you decide to do the Old Testament project with me. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too. I love this fucking card. What? Whew. I noticed I ain't saying shit about these cards. Just FYI, this is a personal deck. I don't really use this to read people, but this is more of a personal deck. So like, if you don't see me post it on Instagram or anywhere, it's because it's for me, right? I have decks that are purely for me. Once I bless them for me, they're for me. But I'm showing you guys the deck so that you guys could see, the beauty of it all. And I love that there is mixed as male and female and different shapes, different sizes. I love all of it. So yeah, if you are interested in doing the Old Testament challenge with me, then I'm excited about it. I hope you do, and let me know, and then I'll make a video, or we can set up like a little group chat and we'll do it, right? I'm excited to see how it'll work out. I also want to create a New Testament one, like the beginnings of it, right? Something that I can continue adding to. Now, just so you know, I might take the scrapbook, I might get one of the binder type, not like the regular scrapbooks, but the actual like full binder, like 3-ring binder, because it's easier to add to it. It's easier to add to that one. So I might end up using that, just so you guys know. Might make it easier for you and for me, because you can just hole punch paper for that and it'd be easier. Right, so I'm hoping that this works for me. I feel like it will, because that's what Spirit's telling me to do, and I'm whole ass for it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need this fucking card for this. I'm sorry about the glare, y'all. The sun is literally like right here. It's like here. So hopefully you guys can still see. Like, Miss Ma'am, I love these cards. There's, like I said, there's some artists out there that do the damn thing with their artwork, and I'm here for it. So I think that concluded our discussion on owning your journey and New Testament versus Old Testament and whatnot. If you have any questions, please list them in the comments, or you can send me an email directly, or if you follow me on Instagram, send me a message there. I do try to check the spam messages in case it falls there. So just, wherever you send it. Okay. But yeah, I'm excited to see if anybody joins me on that. And then we're also in a full moon. It's great. I love this energy. And just so you guys know, Mercury retrograde is coming, I think, towards the end of this month. The 28th, I believe. So If you're feeling like you're in the shadow phase, you probably are in a fucking shadow phase of retrograde. I love retrogrades because it forces you to like really work on your shadows. That's probably the best time to work on your shadows, because then you'll understand, you know, your emotional and mental pattern as you hit retrogrades a little bit easier, because then you'll know like what's triggering you and what's not. It's great. I love it. This is my favorite card. It always pops out whenever I use this deck, and that's mainly because, you know, I'm one of those people like, I'll do it myself. And it's like, no, bitch, ask for help. Like, it's okay to ask for help, you know. I love this card too. I think this one's part of the new one. The expansion pack, I think. I love the colors. I love the feel of it. And just so you know, it's not super shiny. Like, it's got a little bit of a matte finish, and I think that's great. So, and, you know, tell me what card was your favorite as I was going through this. I hope I didn't, like, flip through it too fast. I was trying to, like, make sure I didn't, like, give you guys some long-ass fucking video and whatnot. So, there's that. So, that being said, stay hydrated, okay? Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're doing what you need to do for you and what makes you happy, right? Your cup has to be filled first in order to help others. You know, you always give from excess, not reserve. And remember that you are loved and you are enough. And I wish you all the brightest of blessings. Bye.